When I have the option, I always take the window seat in the airplane. And it's obviously just because I want to see what's outside, you know? Where we're going. You know, just get a blink of a landscape that's under me and that we're flying over. And what's funny is it's almost like a map, you know? A map. Think about a map of Africa against the wall. You've got all the countries, and you've got all the boundaries, and then some green and some deserts and some forests and some ocean. But you can't really get a grasp of what's happening there. The same with the GPS in your car. You've got this GPS that tells you to go left and right, and you know, it gives you just a two-dimensional plane of where you're going, or should be going. But what it doesn't do is, it can't tell you how it smells like on that road, or how beautiful the landscape might be. So about 2 weeks ago, I got the chance to go fly a kite. You know those power kites, big ones? And it was in a big wind, so it was so strong that it lifted me up and just threw me down. And as I was lying on my back in this newly plowed land that's just waiting for the rainy season, I saw all around me shells, but not normal ones. They're fossilized, they're stone. That means they must be ancient. The reality is, there's no ocean closer than about 300 kilometers from Mekelle. So I have to drive to Djibouti, or Somalia, or Eritrea to see some ocean. But here in Mekelle, in Ethiopia, I am lying between shells. I never guessed that that's possible when I came into Mekelle with the airplane, because I saw this tapestry of land, some rivers, and you know, you can make an outline of the outline of a mountain, but you can't really grasp the depth or how the terrain really looks. So today I want to just talk about two texts, and the one is Mark 14, verse 3 to 9, where Jesus is in Bethany and he talks with a bunch of men, which is the disciples mostly. And it's in the time of fasting, the unleavened bread, and he's having meat. And then suddenly this woman walks in, and she takes a bottle of really expensive oil or perfume, and she throws this nardus oil on his head. And immediately you know how the disciples start to murmur, and they're like, oh, she shouldn't do this, this is not good, we could have used it for something else. That's not why I'm using this text. The reason is that it's not about the perfume, it's not about the very expensive alabaster flask, it's not about the meat that Jesus is eating, it's not about the woman who intrudes on this company of men. It's about the disciples who's got this GPS, or this map of something that's happening before them, and it plays out, but they don't really get what's going on there. So what Jesus does is he says, whoa, he says, stop. Give this woman a chance to do what she's doing to me, because she's doing something really good. And she's actually balming him, oiling him, preparing him for his burial. So suddenly, the map against the wall, where the context that the disciples are in and actually viewing, Jesus breaks open, and he actually puts them in the context. He goes into the map. He says, whoa, there's more. There's way more, but you're missing it. The second text is Matthew 25, especially verse 44. Now here we have Jesus talking about the sheep and the goats on the left and the right hand side, and how the kingdom of heaven would be, and how the judgment day would come. And in this dialogue between human and Christ, humans and Christ, there comes a point where the human says, but Lord, we did everything that you said we would. We followed the map. You know, we saw what we should do, and we did it. When you were hungry, we gave you food, and when we were naked, we gave you clothes. We visited you in prison, you know? We did all those things, and Jesus says, whoa, just hold on. You're looking at the map, you get the two-dimensional idea of it, but you don't really get what's happening here. And here, it's not about what you do to the people that you love. It's great, keep on loving them. Do what you do to the people that you love because it's easy. But there's more to it. And it is that unless you do it to the least of those among you, you have not done it to me. And Jesus makes it very clear here that we miss the point. We are in this context and we're looking at this map, but we don't really get what's happening in the world. So I was lying on my back after flying the kite, and the wind is out of my lungs, and I'm just like, I discovered this, and I realized that I would have never thought that there's these shells and these ancient fossils around me. Because that is how I go through my day. I'm busy. I run through the day. I've got to do. You know, you gotta get to your list. You gotta dream. You got goals. And that's great. You've got responsibilities. Take care of them. Jesus doesn't ask us to stop doing those. But it's very clear that he breaks open a context, especially when you look at these two texts, that says while you are in your world, while you are busy with the things that you are used to, there's more than a two-dimensional map. There's shells all around you. There's a woman with a flask oiling someone, balming someone all around you. The least among you is all around you. So I hope that wherever you are, and in which country, whatever you're doing, that you may never stop searching for those shells. That you may never stop looking for the least among you. Because if you don't, you might miss the thousands of them that's all around you. Have a great day, and may God bless you. Salam from Ethiopia.